So I was gonna say this is a list of like surprising names from the 90s that are back in fashion, but we really shouldn't be surprised that parents today are picking 90s inspired baby names. The 90s is back. It's back in fashion. I will not be wearing low-rise jeans. I did the first time round. No, we'll not be doing that again, but the music is all over TikTok. The TV shows are back all over Netflix. I think I spent more time with Tia and Tamira from Sister Sister than my own sister back in the 90s, but I love the culture of it. It was a big explosion of pop culture, so much going on, and the names are back. As a baby name consultant and baby name reporter, I'm always on the lookout for the next trends and seeing what's going up and down in the charts, and these names are all on the way up, and you will recognise where they've come from. So join me on a little tour back to the 90s. So the first two names that are up are the names Britney and Justin. Both names are going up in the charts. I was a mad Free Britney enthusiast as well. Britney has gone up 702 places in the last year alone. So Britney's back. She's back with a bang, and she's back on our baby name charts. Justin's also gone up 24 spots. Was Justin Timberlake a good guy or a bad guy? We're not too sure, but Justin is up, a true 90s icon. So I went through a load of singers. I've done TV shows, movies, icons of the 90s. So up is Backstreet Boys. Howie is one of the fastest rising boy names of the year. It went up 20 places. That was weird. And Backstreet Boys music has been whole picked up by a new generation through TikTok. Kevin, the name I never thought would come back up. Kevin has, it's gone up 12 places. So we were seeing these kind of 90s normcore names just resonating with parents to be. Robbie, remember old Robbie Williams? He's still around, massive icon during the 90s from Take That, then having his own solo career. Robbie, just as a first name, has gone up 76 spots. Also seen for girls, the name Terry has gone up 1,156 spots. So it's kind of on trend with that, I should say on Vogue, because that's where I got it from On Vogue. Really getting popular again, and really is on Vogue with that sort of boy name as girl name flip, but really cool to see on Vogue back as well. The name Melanie, a Spice Girls classic, two Melanies in a band. You feel like they were going to have to pick one, but no, they just couldn't pick between the two of them. Melanie is up 40 spots for girls. I know, do you know little Melanie? Would you list it? It's just so 90s to me. NSYNC, a classic boy band we already talked about, one of them, but Lance, that's right, Lance went up 382 places this year. Lance. I mean, it's back. Kian from Westlife. Kian went up 177 places in the year as well. And Tevin is charting again. Tevin, don't you remember the R&B heartthrob from the really early 90s? This name has been totally unranked, and some of these names have literally gone back into the charts this year. Tevin is one of them. There were a lot of amazing singers in the 90s, but there were a lot of these big power ballads that are really going crazy at the moment on TikTok, and the name Celine, after the amazing Celine Dion, is up again. So Celine went up 58 places this year, so they're all getting some upward swing. The name Alanis, after Alanis Morissette, I really love the name. Such a huge 90s icon, and the name Alanis went up 702 places this year. So Britpop wasn't really trending. I did look into it, we're thinking, where's Blur, where's Liam and Noel? All those names have kind of been around but aren't massively trending like the others. Although I did recently have somebody who was naming their baby Suede, and I have had a couple saying they like the name Jarvis. So Britpop is also on its way back, but there were 3 babies named Hanson last year. Just the 3. So classic 90s TV shows, I was all about the TV. Looking back at these is just so nostalgic. So Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, funnily enough the name Banks is trending at the moment, which was their surname. It's gone into the charts. It went up 759 places, so it was kind of low down, but Banks as a first name is out there. And the most trending name from the show is Vivian. The mum's name, Vivian Banks, so that went up 184 places and is really having its boost up the charts. Lisa, a 90s girl name, back with a bang. It went up 9 spots this year. I always think of Lisa from Saved by the Bell. I absolutely loved her, but there were so many Lisas across most of the TV shows. Kelly went up 450 places in the baby name charts this year. Kelly, yeah, a mad classic again from Saved by the Bell. Pacey actually entered the charts. Anyone remember Dawson's Creek? Pacey actually went in. There were 3 babies named Pacey, and that's kind of the lowest that they kind of score, and these were all British statistics, I should say. The name Angela went up 46 spaces this year from My So Good Life, which was my absolute obsession. My Jordan Catalano crush was off the scale. I wanted to be Angela. I dyed my hair like her. It was crazy. The name Blossom went up 18 places to number 344 in the charts. It's actually very popular. I love the show Blossom. My daughter's middle name is Blossom. There's also a character called Blossom on EastEnders, if anyone remembers her. But I absolutely love that name. Winnie is a really popular name. There are lots of Winnies kind of from the 90s. The one that really stands out is Winnie from A Different World. It went up 18 more places. It's so popular. It's now at number 210 and it was one of the real ones to watch in terms of popular names. Melissa. Yep, Melissa and Melanie are on the rise after Melissa Joan Hart, probably the icon of the 90s from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The name Melissa went up 46 places to number 237 in the chart. And we're seeing the characters from Friends. Friends is humongous again, just as big as it was maybe the first time round. Monica is up 152 spots. Joey is up 2 spots. There were 3 babies named Chandler last year as well. So people are getting their inspiration right from the classic 90s shows. What do you reckon about these from the Gladiators? Do you remember the Gladiators? Wolf. I'm not quite sure that he's inspiring the name, but it did just make me laugh to see that Wolf has gone up 711 spots this year. And Jet as well, who was my dream, she's back in the charts this year. These 90s names are jumping in the charts. There were actually 4 girls named Jet this year. Supermodel names are also coming back. So Cindy, after the massive icon Cindy Crawford, that has gone up 10 spots this year. And Tyra went up 988 spots, maybe inspired by Tyra Banks. And the movie icons from the 90s we're seeing go up as well. We're seeing Liv Tyler, Empire Records hit in about the mid-90s, 1995. She was just a huge poster girl. Boys loved her, girls loved her, everyone wanted to be her. And the name Liv has gone up 312 places just on its own. Obviously it could be a short form for Olivia. Keanu. This name almost couldn't have been used a while ago, but it is so back in fashion. It went up 20 places again. It's going up year on year on year. It's now at number 496. Keanu Reeves, still a huge icon, but was real standout star of the 90s with his huge blockbuster shows, movies I should say. Meg Ryan was absolutely everywhere. All the 90s rom-coms that we still watch, it's like our comfort food, the 90s, went up 232 places as well this year alone. Even the name Sharon, after Sharon Stone potentially, that went up 101 places this year. But the biggest name that stands out from looking at all of them is the name Winona. Winona Ryder obviously really broke through in the 90s, was just a huge star and still is with Stranger Things, and that name went up 1,370 places. So with Stranger Things being so massive, it's got all the trends. It's got Winnie as the nickname, as first name, which we absolutely love. It's a 90s classic name that we can all go back to, and it's got Stranger Things connection, which is the Netflix and naming. So Winona is kind of my #1 star pick, although I do have to tell you, there are 3 babies called the Macarena last year. And if that doesn't prove that the 90s names are back with a bang after the Spanish pop song that came out in 1995, 3 baby Macarenas are proving it for us. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour down 90s memory lane. I hope it made you smile. Leave any more names you want me to check out or want to remind people of in the comment section below. It's a really fun place to go and chat. Do subscribe if you love all things baby names. I'll be back next Monday with a new list, and the podcast is launching this weekend. Woohoo! Again. And I'll see you next week. Bye guys.